All right, guys, in today's video, we are taking time to go over a survey that was recently conducted where they are asking people which next generation console they are more excited for. And obviously, the PlayStation 5 is the clear favorite, but it's by a very large margin here. And I feel as though this is something that is worth taking some time, at least a few minutes, to highlight and talk about, because this backs up what I've been saying. And what I've been saying is that the reason why people are more excited for the PlayStation 5, the reason why, in my opinion, the PlayStation 5 is going to absolutely dominate next generation in a significant way, just like we saw with the PlayStation 4, is because not only does the hardcore gaming market, but I would go as far as to say the wider gaming market actually prefers the direction that Sony is going in, more so than the direction that Microsoft is going in. I know that everybody has their preferences, but again, I have to tell you guys, apparently 84% of the participants in this survey are saying that they are more excited for the PlayStation 5 over the next generation Xbox. Let that number sink in, 84%. Now you're probably going to ask yourself, well, how many people participated in this survey? Well, the survey is being called a wide-ranging survey, and it's being done by a pop culture agency called Experience 12. I believe this is in the UK as well. And it was about 3,000 people. Now, I know that that is not a lot of people, but we have to understand this could very well just be a microcosm of the bigger picture here. The bigger picture being that the vast majority of people who are even remotely interested in video games, or even those who are very interested in video games, prefer the PlayStation. They prefer Sony's direction. They prefer, believe it or not, an actual next generation. And I just have been saying for a while now that there's just something about the direction that Microsoft is going in with their console and the way they've been talking about their console and kind of undermining it in a very significant way with all of their talk about Game Pass and getting Game Pass available on as many platforms as possible. I just feel like there's a lot that Microsoft is doing that, frankly, a lot of people just, it's not appealing to them, at least not in the traditional sense, not in the sense that, yeah, I want to go out there and buy a console. And you guys know I'm very much a hardcore console gamer, and I'm a big fan of console gaming. I want to see it not just survive, but potentially even thrive. And so when I look at what Sony's doing, and I also see that even just based off of this little survey here with 3,000 people, 84%, that is kind of staggering. And it just makes me wonder when it comes to the wider gaming market. I know that we probably won't get a survey like this, but I would be very interested to see what that number would be, right? What that percentage would be. Something tells me that Sony is going to once again be, well, I'm not going to say something tells me, I'm going to be real. It's very clear Sony's going to continue to be the market leader going into next generation. But I guess my question at this point is how big will that gap be? How big will the difference be between how many units the PlayStation 5 sells versus how many units the next generation Xbox sells? How much momentum is Sony going to be able to just run away with and kind of leave Xbox behind? You know, that's not what I want to see, honestly, because we already know the PS5 is going to sell out. We already know that even though Sony's doubling production of the PS5, they're going to sell out of this console. My big hope, honestly, was that Microsoft would really bring it this time, and maybe they still will, but I don't know. At this point, it's starting to seem like they're just letting Sony kind of run away with it once again, and it honestly comes off to me sometimes like Sony is single-handedly keeping the console market, the traditional console gaming experience, alive and thriving, whereas Microsoft, rather than them trying to do that alongside Sony and compete with them in that way, they're just more focused on other things that, you know, are honestly kind of go against the whole traditional console gaming thing here. But yeah, I had to take some time here to let you guys know about this, and I'm going to be interested to see what you have to say. Again, I know it's just 3,000 people, but again, they're calling it a wide-ranging survey, so they're trying to make sure they're getting a whole different array of people, not just a specific group that would clearly be interested in PlayStation over Xbox. And 84% of these participants saying that they are more excited for the PS5 over the Xbox Series X. But we are going to move on from that and talk about some rumors. And I want to let you guys know right now as clearly as I possibly can. These are rumors. Do not walk away from this video assuming that anything from this point forward is going to be true. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's a very good chance that none of this is true. In fact, the reason why I'm taking time to talk about this is not to necessarily get you excited, but to possibly keep your expectations in check. And I know that that may not be the most exciting thing, but this is just what happens. We know that Sony is going to be having some type of event in August, and people are very, very excited for it. I'm very excited for it, but we have to be honest and we have to keep our expectations in check so that way we're not disappointed. And, you know, at times like this, you're going to see people kind of run with some stuff. There are some discussions right now that apparently Gran Turismo 7's release date or release window may have been leaked out, although I'm more inclined to believe that it's more of a placeholder date than anything else. Apparently, some individuals on some forums have found a photo of Gran Turismo 7. It looks like it's kind of a pre-order case or something like that inside of a shop or a gaming store. And the launch window is set for December 2020. And so this has led people to, you know, speculate that not only is Gran Turismo 7 going to launch in December of this year, but this may even mean the PlayStation 5 is going to launch in December. And I'm going to let you know right now, that's not going to happen. Okay, you can take that to the bank. Sony will absolutely not release the PlayStation 5 in December. They're not going to miss Black Friday. They're going to release it in November. I've seen some people think that maybe they'll release it in October. That's still a possibility, but it's much, much more likely that we are going to see the PlayStation 5 launch in November. Now, does that mean all of a sudden that there's no way Gran Turismo 7 could be launching in December? No, it could very well launch in December, but Gran Turismo 7, it's hard to tell with this game because the truth is we don't know what Sony's launch lineup is going to look like, other than that we know that Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be the game that launches with it. Now, there could be others. What about that game Returnal? That seems like the perfect type of game to have at or around launch. What about Demon's Souls? I don't know about that. I have a feeling that one's a little bit further out. What about Ratchet & Clank? We did see gameplay of that. In fact, the two games we saw the most gameplay of were Ratchet & Clank and Gran Turismo 7. So the fact that we saw some gameplay, some raw gameplay of Gran Turismo 7, more so than other games we saw there at this PlayStation 5 event, it does lead me to possibly believe that this could be true. Maybe this game will launch before the end of the year, but there's a lot of people who have told me that, look, it's just Gran Turismo is not really known, and at least this is what I've heard, to be one of those games that's just set for the launch of a new console. They usually come a little bit later. That's what people have told me. I don't know if there's much truth to that. I haven't really followed the past Gran Turismo games, but I guess I'm just trying to let you guys know, don't necessarily anticipate it. It's much more likely that the December 2020 we're seeing on this game case or whatever it may be is a placeholder date. It's probably not the actual release date. I don't think that they would just plaster that on the box. It's more than likely a placeholder, and anybody who may be thinking that this is, you know, indicative of the PlayStation 5 launching in December, it absolutely will not launch in December. It's going to launch in November. That's just how these things have always gone down and how they're going to continue to go down. So yeah, the other thing I want to kind of nip in the bud here and just let you guys know about, it has to do with this online leak. And this is not coming from a source. This is coming from 4chan. So that should tell you all you need to know. But a lot of people have been asking me to cover this. A lot of people have been bringing it to my attention, asking me whether or not if I know this is real or if it's fake. And I'm going to be brutally honest right now and tell you, do not walk away from this thinking that any of this is true. It is a 4chan post. I have been burned by these in the past. I've given these posts a little bit more credit than I should have, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. And honestly, the reason why I'm taking the time out of my day to even mention this is because I want you guys to understand something. What Sony showed at their June event would certainly be considered more than enough, okay? At least in my opinion. A lot of people walked away from that show with a very good understanding that Sony has a lot of games in the works that are going to be coming out within the next 12 months. That's the important thing you have to understand about the event that we saw in June. And so people are wondering, well, what about the next, God of War? What about this or that? And the truth is, these things are in the works, obviously. We know there are more secrets that Sony has, more games that are in development, possibly like Silent Hill. I've been seeing some people say Metal Gear Solid. I really don't know if I believe that one. I would love to, but I don't know if I believe that. But, you also think about like God of War. Are we actually going to see it revealed before the end of the year? It's worth pointing out that Cory Barlog kind of nipped this in the bud himself and made it seem like, no, these rumors are not true. You're not going to see a tease of God of War 5 before the end of the year. One thing that we have to understand is that Sony most likely, and I don't want to say this definitively, but most likely was waiting and watching what Microsoft's show was going to be like and how big of a splash it was going to make. I've already said this, but I just need to reiterate this here to keep people's expectations in check. They were probably waiting to see how big of a splash they made to determine how hard do they have to come back here. Is there stuff that they should be ready to reveal? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Sony maybe did have the intention of revealing the next God of War in August or maybe even September to kind of counter possibly some big reveals or announcements that Microsoft had. But let's be honest, guys, that showing that Microsoft had doesn't really scream Sony needs to respond in a big way at all. And so with that in mind, I just want you guys to understand that if you look over what these 4chan posts are saying, they're giving you timestamps for the trailers, saying this is exactly how long each trailer is going to be. That's a red flag right there. Nobody's really going to know that. And if they do know that, they're not going to be on 4chan letting you know about it. And they're kind of mentioning a lot of just very obvious stuff that we can already expect. For example, they're saying that Silent Hill is going to be revealed. Now, I don't know. I still don't know if that's something that's actually going to be revealed before the end of the year. It seems like if Sony wanted to, if this is in fact a real thing, they could save that reveal for 2021. There's no pressure on them right now to get out ahead and reveal Silent Hill on top of everything they've already revealed. They're mentioning Spider-Man Miles Morales and how we're going to see some gameplay and get more details. Like, gee, okay, I guess that would make sense, right? Like, I guess you are some type of insider for being able to guess that. Like, no, anybody can put that together, right? Like, we know we're going to hear more about Spider-Man Miles Morales. And they're randomly saying Metal Gear Solid. Now, look, I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I would love to believe that. I more so than most people want to believe that we will see Metal Gear Solid announced. But has there been any remote indication that that's something we should anticipate? No. And so it just comes off as like, what? Like, now you're just randomly throwing Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid in there in a state of play? Yeah, I don't know about that. They're mentioning Fortnite. Like, okay, I guess that could be a thing. And they're also mentioning God of War and a CGI trailer. I can tell you right now, if the next God of War is revealed, it's not going to be a CGI trailer. Sony has made it very clear that anything they want to show, they want it to be shown running on a PS5. I've seen a lot of people question about Horizon Forbidden West, like, oh, that's a CG trailer. No, it's not. It's running on a PS5. I mean, they may be cutscenes, but that's how they're going to look. So, yeah, you're not going to see any CGI trailers. This isn't the Xbox event we're talking about here. And then there's a second one saying that we're going to see Call of Duty. Okay, yeah, I know. Like, you have to be such an insider to kind of figure that one out. They're saying Red Dead Redemption 2. Not really sure why Red Dead Redemption 2 would show up. And then, it just goes on and on and on here. And they're 4chan posts, guys. So what I'm trying to say here is don't believe them. It's as simple as that. I don't believe them. I don't think you should believe them. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say to you, and this is not to try to dampen anybody's excitement. Be excited. There's a lot to still be excited about going into the PlayStation 5. Part of that is not necessarily seeing new game announcements, but hearing more about the console itself, the features, the UI, stuff like that, seeing more gameplay of the games that have been revealed. What I will say is this. If you're going to walk away expecting anything, I'd say at the very least, it's totally okay to expect maybe one more big game announcement, whether that be Silent Hill, the next God of War, or something completely different. I think it's okay to expect that. However, do not be surprised if we don't get that. Okay? I'm only saying that because you have to understand Sony is in a power position right now. Microsoft did not really do much to warrant a massive response from them. So it's best to just maybe take a step back and realize that this event, whatever's going to be going down in August, it might not be as big as at least these 4chan posts are trying to imply that they're going to be. All right, you're not going to see a bunch of new AAA games announced during a state of play. It's just not going to happen. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I do apologize. It did run longer than I wanted it to, but I hope you did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts on this survey that shows that the PlayStation 5 is just dominating the gaming space when it comes to what people are excited for. And let me know your thoughts on this Gran Turismo leak or rumor and these 4chan post rumors. Let me know what you're expecting in August. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.